Hi everyone, welcome. FPLMattDay here, and this is my Game Week 31 team selection, including my favourite picks and Marcus Rashford replacements. We have learnt the news this week that he is injured. He's going to be out for a number of weeks now. We'll be back before the end of the season is what we're hearing, but we are going to need to replace him in that time, especially with Man United blanking in Game Week 32. Also going to be going through some of my other favourite picks in defence as well. Obviously, Luke Shaw has an injury too, so there's some managers looking to replace him. So I'm going to go through that as well as my transfers for Game Week 31 and a little bit of planning for Game Week 32. I'll talk about as well with some of my potential moves and my team. And I'll go through my my bench and just some of my thoughts and some of the players in my team and why I think they need to play for this game week. So look, I will share screen. So I'll share the screen now. So I'll share it and I'll go through my team in some more detail for you. And I'll start with the goalkeeper. So let's bring this up here. Cool. As you can see, Kepa in goal. Stays in goal for my side. Home to Brighton. Tough game for Chelsea. Look, I can't see a clean sheet for Chelsea in this game. But it's between him and another goalkeeper, which I will show you soon. And I just look at it and think there could be a lot of saves for Kepa in this. We saw the way Brighton played away at Spurs last week. Lots of saves for Lloris. So I can see Kepa getting a lot of save points, but no clean sheet in this one, in my opinion. But he has to play from my two goalkeepers. He is the strongest. Also, just before I go through the rest of my team, you can see there in the corner, I've got one transfer available, 1.3 million in the bank. So I've got a bit of money to spend there. And there is a predicted points of 74 points. So it looks quite healthy, my team. So let's go through the rest of it. Into the defence, back three. Ben Mee away at Wolves. Wolves traditionally quite low scoring, but they have picked up form of late. Mee hasn't been good for a while now in my Brentford side. It hasn't kept many clean sheets, but I don't have too many options this week. So Ben Mee stays in there. Kieran Trippier, ever present. Even if Villa score, you've got to play Trippier. He can get free kicks. He can get assists. Gets on the bonus frequently as well. And then on the far side there, as you can see, Estu Pinan stays in my lineup. For now, at the moment in this draft team, he is someone I'm considering bringing out or benching this week. But that is my defence. Then in my midfield, Solly March and Mitoma are my Brighton double-ups. And they are staying in there. And for me, your Brighton attacking assets, you have to play them this week. A lot of people are looking at bringing them out. If you're looking at using your transfer to bring one of them out because they don't play in game week 32, in my opinion, do not make that move. Keep them for this game. Mitoma is on form, one of the most informed players in FPL. Solly March, really good return against Spurs last week with some bonus points when a lot of managers didn't expect it. Plays against a Chelsea team who are not in form. Chelsea have no form at the moment. They lost to Wolves last week, did not score. Have just lost to Real Madrid in the Champions League, did not score, and lost to Aston Villa in their last home game and did not score. So Brighton can do some really big damage in this game, and you've got to keep the likes of Mitoma and Solly March in your lineups. So they stay at my team. James Maddison, he's been in there ever since the double game week. I've got to play him against City. I know it's a tough game, but he did get a double-digit score. It was 16 points in this game last season. City won this game 6-3. Leicester are always capable of scoring goals. I don't think they'll win the game. Man City have won, I think, their last 10 home games now. So it is going to be tricky for Leicester, but Maddison free kicks always has that opportunity. Has a knacker scoring against City, so he stays. And then Bukayo Saka away at West Ham. Loves these types of London fixtures. He can always grab goals on the break, on pen. So he stays in my team this week. These are the games we own Saka for. And then front three, the man himself, Harry Kane, home to Bournemouth. Another team he loves to score against. Has to stay in my team. Also plays in game week 32. In the middle, Ollie Watkins scoring and assisting for fun for Aston Villa. points machine right now. Tougher game against Newcastle, but I do expect goals in this one from both sides as well. And Ollie Watkins could easily be involved. This is the early kickoff as well on Saturday. And then Erling Haaland, home to Leicester. I did just mention Leicester have lost 10 away games in a row. And I said last week on my streams, Haaland will get to 30 goals. And he did. He scored 2 goals, got to 30 goals. He was my captain. For those that didn't captain him last week, do not make the same mistake this week. Captaining Erling Haaland against a Leicester side in massive trouble in the relegation zone, conceding goals for fun. I just mentioned City have won 10 home games in a row. Erling Haaland has a very high chance of another hat-trick this weekend. We know how much he loves scoring hat-tricks at home, and it wouldn't put it past me if he does it again. Haaland has to be the captain for game week 31. So that is my front three. Let's go into my bench. And Neto is that other goalkeeper I spoke about. Got a really good score last week away at Leicester. I fancy Spurs to score a couple of goals in this. I think when the pressure's off, we obviously perform well. I'm a Spurs fan, I know all about them. And Kane loves his fixture, and I think Spurs will get a couple of goals. They did against Brighton. I think they'll do the same against Bournemouth. I don't think there is much in it between Neto and Kepa this week. I'd probably say Kepa just slightly edges it in the fact that maybe Brighton don't score, may not score as many goals away. It could be maybe a 1-0 to 2-0 Brighton. But like I said, I do think March and Matoma will be involved. And as you can see there, Harry Souttar is on my bench. And what it does mean is if one of these players misses out in my lineup, Souttar is going to have to come on, which is not ideal. It's not ideal to have Souttar as a first sub. I do think they'll concede a few goals, Leicester. There's not much I can do. Luke Shaw looks like he's going to be out of the Forest game. If for whatever reason Ten Hag does say Shaw is back, Shaw will come into my lineup. He'll definitely come in, but I think he's out. And then Rashford, look, he's on my bench for now. I'm not looking to transfer him out this week. I know his price is going down, but I've got a fair bit of value tied in him. He's going to be out for at least the next, I think, 3 to 4 games, in my opinion, from what we've heard. So that is my bench. Let's look at the full team here. And as you can see, I've got a 3-4-3. My bench isn't too strong this week. But pretty confident with the team. If I was to keep this team, 74 points as predicted points, 1.3 million in the bank. But let's have a quick look at the transfers I would be looking to make. And I'm not looking to take a hit this week. I would do something as simple as this. Luke Shaw out because he doesn't play in game week 32. Look for a player that does. Tarkowski at 4.2 million. If I was to then bring him in for Estupiñán, predicted points do go down. So they do predict Estupiñán to have more points, but you'd probably back Tarkowski at home to Fulham looking at the fixtures. But at the same time, Chelsea could easily not score in that game too. So it's a tricky one. But really that Tarkowski move would be with the idea of, not because I really want Tarkowski in my team, it's because he plays in game week 32 as well. So he does have that fixture in game week 32, which is ideal. If you go here into his information, away at Palace, expected points 3.61 against Fulham, 3.57 against Palace. But then it gives me that room to then potentially downgrade Haaland in game week 32 to someone like Gabriel Jesus, and then upgrade Mitoma to Mo Salah at home to Forest in game week 32. So that'll be something I'll be going through in my team selection for next week. So be sure to tune in onto the channel next week for my team selection if I make those moves. Probably wondering why I'm talking about bringing Haaland out after I was just talking about he's a must-have. I've got a wild card, so I can wild card these players back in. No chance am I going to be looking to take up Haaland before this Leicester game. And obviously, if I was to sell him next week, 12.1, I'd have to buy him back for 12.2. So I will be losing value on some of these players, but I do have a wild card. So that would be the transfer I would look to make. So that's how my team would look if I did that. And then I would move Estupiñán there to first sub, or I'd possibly even put him in ahead of Tarkowski as a late decision. But let's go through some of the best Marcus Rashford replacements for game week 31. So Marcus Rashford is injured for Man United. He's going to be out, for at least the next few games. We're all looking at replacements. His price is dropping by the day in FPL. So some of the best replacements for me. Elise, 1.2% owned from Crystal Palace, 5.4 million. 2 wins in 2 for Crystal Palace since Roy Hodgson come back in, and he got 14 points in his last game against Leeds. He has Southampton away this weekend. Great fixture for Palace, great fixture for Elise. Another player on great form, a really good Marcus Rashford replacement, is Jack Grealish, 8.7% owned. I'm expecting that to go higher and higher and higher. 7.1 million, 24 points in his last 2 games, 12 games, 12 points in each game. And then he has that Leicester home game. City are on that 10-game home streak. Leicester relegation zone, not on form. Jack Grealish is a man to look at getting in your teams for game week 31. And then my last one, I've spoke about this player on a few pods now. Jack Harrison, home to Liverpool. You might look at it and think Leeds absolutely crushed in their last game with a 5-1 defeat to Palace. But he's home to Liverpool. Liverpool are conceding goals. He's 2.9% owned. And if you get him in this week for Rashford, low price, he also plays Fulham in game week 32 away. So you get a game week 32 player because game week 32 is a blank game week. So that is going to be all my Rashford replacements. They're my favourite 3 for now. One thing I'll quickly touch on as well is some potential Luke Shaw replacements. So I spoke about Tarkowski, 4.2 million enabler. You get a fixture out of him this weekend at home to Fulham. You get a fixture out of him in blank game week 2. Or if you want to stick with a Man United theme, remember they do not play in game week 32, but you can make a nice sideways move to Malacia, who did get 9 points at home to Everton last week. He will play in place of Shaw if Shaw is not fit to play against Forest, and it's a really nice, smart sideways move. But before you make any moves on Man United players, wait until the Europa League is done in case there's any further injuries. So that's my team, guys. Just seen it there, the 3-4-3, the one transfer I'm looking at making, looking to save some money so I can bring in the correct players I want and the right players for game week 32, which is a blank game week, and game week 31. Just looking at that one move with no hits this week. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please ask any questions you might have. I'm FPLMattDay. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.